All right, welcome everybody to tonight's Kaizen coaching. My name is Jeremy Jenkins, and I am super excited to share with you a couple of different things tonight. First of all, want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving week, and hopefully we're all excited. It's one of my favorite holidays. I saw something today that kind of made me laugh. It was funny. So I follow an influencer trainer guy, and he was saying, the best holiday, in my opinion, is the 4th of July, because on the 4th of July, it's warm, it's nice, it's about food, it's about fireworks and celebrating, and you don't have to, cook really, and you don't have to buy anybody any gifts. I thought that's kind of funny. So, so I love 4th of July, but I love Thanksgiving too. I love Christmas. I love Halloween. I love all the holidays. Any reason to, decorate and get together and have fun, it's always good. So, but, Thanksgiving, obviously a time of gratitude, a time of being thankful for, the blessings and the things that we received during the year. And, hey, I am so grateful that I was introduced to this amazing group that we have here, all of this team that I've been able to work with for many years now, a lot of you, and it's great. That's one of the coolest things about this profession that we do, is the relationships that we're able to establish, the friends that we're able to make. And I there's certain individuals in what I would call my Kaizen team that I've been working with for over 15 years now. So thank you for jumping on tonight. Thanks for trusting in me as a team leader and coach. And it's my pleasure to be able to share with you tonight the topic of this evening, which we're going to dive into right now. It has to do with how to talk to reluctant people. Okay, so let's go ahead and share the presentation now. There you go, Kaizen coaching. So a lot of times when we talk to people, you're going to get, that shield, right? That defensive shield. They're reluctant. They just, they want to have every excuse in the book. And you know what I'm talking about, right? You're talking to a prospect. They've seen the presentation. That they like your company. They like kind of what we're doing, but they're just not sure. Right? They're just not sure if they can do it. They're not, and so they don't engage and they don't really do anything. So the question is, how do we push them over the edge, right? So we're going to kind of talk about how to convert these people, right? And so basically what they're going to say is, I know they can do it, but how can I convince them of that fact, right? Like that's what it is. They just have that lack of self-esteem, maybe. Okay. And so this is how most people are thinking, actually. Most people are like this. And so, when you haven't had a lot of success yet, and you have that prospect that's kind of lukewarm, well, you get all excited and the greed gland swells up, right? You're thinking, oh, this person's perfect. I'm excited. I'm going to make my fortune because of this person. And you start imagining all the commissions that are going to come into your bank account. And you start telling your upline that you are a rock star, right? And that is the point where a lot of times you blow it. Okay. So we're going to kind of figure out what we're doing wrong and how we can not fall into that trap, right? So you have to kind of do the unexpected to get the big results, right? And so instead of convincing, we're going to try a different method. And here's what it is. So a lot of times people, what they want is authenticity. They don't want to be sold. They want something real. And so by being the most real possible, by being the most truthful possible, they're going to respect that, right? So here's an example. Let's say the prospect says, oh, I'm not sure I can do it. Well, then, normally what you might say is, No, you're great. You can do it. You're the best. You're amazing. I'll work with you. I'll teach you. Don't worry about, right. We try and convince them, right? We try and, just make it so it's not so bad. We exaggerate it, whatever it is, right? That doesn't work. What really works is if they say, I'm not so sure I can do it. And then you actually say, oh, yeah, you're probably right. Boom. That's a shock, right? That's something that's unexpected. That's something that's going to make them kind of wake up and go, wait, what? Right? So, or the second prospect might say, I want to do it, but I have to make sure I can get my money back as quickly as possible. And so you could realistically, very transparently and frankly and all that say, well, I'm not so certain this is a fit for you then, because the people that produce are coachable, and they're confident and they follow the steps that I outline, and kind of based on what you just said, I don't know, this might not be a good fit for you, at least right now. And it just kind of makes them wake up, right? Makes them go, wait, what do you mean? What are you talking about? It's not a fit for me, right? And now they're starting to actually think about it, right? Instead of just putting up that generic, it's like when you walk in the store and the salesperson, comes up and like, hey, can I help you with anything? No, I'm just browsing. I'm just looking. Right. And then, okay, later on when you kind of found something, hey, I do need some help. Right. But the initial reaction is don't bug me. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone. Right. And if we shock them out of that, then they're more likely to react. Okay. So, so we think to ourselves, but they're so close to signing up. Can I just convince them? And that's what they expect, right? They expect you to tell them about the fast start bonuses and how good they would be at it and how awesome they are. And, but if you learn to take it away from them and make them prove to you that they can do it, you're going to have a much higher chance that they're actually going to sign up and go for it, right? Not only that, if you make them convince you that they can't be mad at you if they don't, right? If they don't follow your coaching. So you didn't twist their arm, right? They told you they were the ones that were going to rock it out. They were going to do it. Okay. So I've very rarely seen pressure or convincing actually work to get a reluctant person to take an action. And if they did, a lot of times it created the buyer's remorse, and then they end up canceling anyway. So in network marketing, it's not times share sales. It's not, we're not trying to do a one-time sale. We're not doing like I had a guy come, try and sell me a Kirby vacuum. Right. And it was like a do or die. If I don't sell this vacuum, it's not happening. Right. Like cold sales like that. So it's not timeshares. It's not, door to door trying to sell something. You got to get the sale right then and there. No, we got to stop with the high pressure and use the force. Right. In other words, we just kind of be like, hey, yeah, you're not okay. Maybe you're not the one, right? And then they're like, wait, yes, I am. Because now we're talking to their pride, right? So why we should also go after busy people, right? Because another thing that we might think to ourselves is, that person's too busy. They're involved in too many things. Why would they listen to little old me? No. But you know what? Actually, busy people, they're the best ones, right? A lot of network marketers will talk to their friends that have a lot of time on their hands just to give them something to do. Okay. But these are the worst people to bring into your business, because typically what it means is that they have no motivation. They don't have any drive. Right. And so, they have all the time in the world. It means that they're actually not doing anything productive. So just because they have time doesn't mean they're going to use it effectively. Busy people, on the other hand, they get the most done, right? They know the most people. They're the most dynamic, and they actually like working. And Absolutely have pain points that you can probably get them to open up and explore with your business opportunity. So recruiting the busiest people is going to mean you're bringing on people that are the most connected and the most hardworking. They're actually doing stuff. And that's what you want, right? You want people that are actually doing things. Okay. So how do you recruit busy people? Well, you help them see that they're in this perpetual state of being busy, which sucks, right? Who the heck wants to run around their whole life being busy and working endless hours with no residual income? So we teach them about this concept of making money while you sleep, right? And the residual aspect of it. Only someone deranged and sadistic loves to work their brains out day in and day out with no possibility of escape. So without passive or residual income, we all know this, we're all trading our dollars for our hours, right? We're renting ourselves out basically. And that's that. So if you ever get sick or something happens, guess what? The money stops. Okay. And so people like this, they need to understand the power of leverage. And that's what we teach. That's the magic of MLM or networking, is the power of leverage, the being able to build a team and being able to earn from the work of the entire team and group, right? That's so much more efficient and powerful than just doing it all yourself. So how you recruit them is you help them to see the power of that freedom, of actual freedom. If someone tells you they're just swamped and extremely busy, then you say, yeah, that sucks. That's terrible. Wouldn't life be easier if you actually had money coming in each month, whether you worked or not? Right? So you help them understand that if they work hard in a residual income opportunity, then they can actually put in hard work for just a little while and get paid for the rest of their life based on that initial effort versus starting every month over again at zero. So corporate life is, what have you done for me lately? In most situations. And people that were employee of the month or salesman of the month can find themselves jobless until they continue, unless they continue to perform, right? Okay, so if people think that they're too busy for massive passive income, well, then we need to educate them. Okay, so sometimes it helps to ask that person why they work so hard. They may reply, okay, I need to support my family or my lifestyle, whatever it is. But wouldn't it be cool to support your family while actually spending time with them? That is the power of the home-based business, right? That is the power of what we do. Growing up with pictures of your kids and a family on your desk is much different than spending actual time with them, which is very possible with large residual income. Okay. So next time someone tells you that they're too busy, just tell them, yeah, boy, that's terrible. That sucks. Wouldn't it be nice to have money coming in each month without being so stressed, and then also being able to spend time with your family that you're working so hard for, right? That is a mouthful, I know. But basically, the idea is that the busy people are some of the more stressed out ones, but they're more productive in society. And so they need the residual income perhaps more than anyone else, right? So there's the thing. So the first concept is posturing, just being able to, be real with people and kind of maybe, tickle their pride a little bit and, just, hey, yeah, okay, maybe this isn't for you. You're going to put up excuses, then, I'm going to do this with you or without you, right? There's a phrase I like to say, which is, I have the cookie, right? I have the cookie. I have a solution. I have residual income. I have, time freedom. I have a source of true freedom that's going to let me be with my family and do fun things and do all that. And so I know what I got. So if you're going to put up excuses, you're going to put up that shield of don't talk to me, then that's on you. That's your loss, right? Because I know what I got. And I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to try and convince you. And then for those that are just too busy, we're just going to tell them, hey, you know what? I have the cookie. I have the solution. I have a way for you to not have to be so busy and to be able to have a little bit of downtime and still make the kind of money you're used to making. So hopefully that was helpful. Just those two concepts. on how to sponsor reluctant MLM prospects. So with that, we're going to go ahead and now change gears. Let's go ahead and switch to the vehicle of choice. So we have a vehicle of choice that is allowing us to do exactly that, right? When I say we have the cookie, well, this is the one thing that I'm most excited about, that is allowing not just myself, but all the members of the team to actually participate in what I think is the future of commerce, the future of finance, the future of rewards, the future of participation in networking and digital products and things like that. So let's go ahead and dive in. For those that are still with me, want to know a little bit about what we're doing with a company called Cirrus Networks. This is very, very fun because it truly is, in my opinion, the next evolution of what we're trying to do. I grew up in Utah, and I've been surrounded by the concept of networking and direct sales all my life. There's so many companies that are around in my backyard even that have been doing it. And so I kind of learned from a young age what it was all about. I was pretty skeptical still, but then I got into it. I understand the power of leverage. I understood the power of team building and personal development and all those things. And I fell in love with the industry. But it has its flaws. It has there's certain issues that you always run into, and it's one of the things that unfortunately has happened over the last several years is that because of technology, the traditional methods that we've known and loved for so long are kind of they're getting slammed, right? They're getting disrupted is the word. And so with e-commerce, Amazon, and other companies, it's harder. It's harder for traditional network marketing, traditional direct sales to work the same way it used to, right? It's just people are spoiled nowadays. People have found that direct to consumer is what we call it. So the Amazon model, right? Whether it's Amazon or eBay or whatever shopping site people want to go to, they call that direct to consumer, and it's really changing the way business is done because people expect that kind of service nowadays, right? People expect things to be fast, delivered quickly, priced competitively, all those things, right? And so to have something that competes with what you can find on Amazon or other types of e-commerce platforms is really difficult. It's got to be priced correctly, or people are just going to go, right? It's got to be delivered quickly, and it's got to have something more, something beyond just a compensation model if it's going to compete in today's market. And that's what Cirrus really brings to the table. And we're going to kind of understand that now as we dive through this. So the first thing I want to say is, of course, we are not talking about any kind of investment, any kind of financial products, any kind of contracts, anything like that. Okay. We're not selling even cryptocurrency or tokens, right? That's not what Gnodi and Cirrus are all about. We don't do that. Okay. We are a product-based company, products and services that people know and love and can learn more about, right? Products that actually bring value to people through a reward system. And it's really fun. So, and then of course, a traditional, compensation model that requires effort. Okay, it requires actually doing stuff. This is not about just set it and forget it, and like an investment type of thing. Okay, all right. So having said that, let's talk a little bit about the future and how the world is changing. It's a decentralized future, and what does that mean? Well, people are starting to wake up and realize that big tech, So we're talking about all the big social media platforms and cell phone provider platforms and others. And what do? They're huge now, right? And the competition kind of keeps going away. There's less and less of them, and they're just becoming more and more of a monopoly. And how they make their money is they track everything we do, right? Personal data. It's amazing when you really dive into it and understand what they do. They because you carry your phone with you, right? There's so much information now that they can track. They can track where you go out to eat. They track whether you're walking or whether you're driving because they know the velocity, how fast you're going. They track what websites you visit. All the things that we do, they're tracking that all the time. And then they sell that data to advertisers, right, and to other companies that okay, that person, they went to the pet store and they browsed some websites about dogs, and they went to the vet, and so that person obviously has dogs, and so I'm going to now advertise to them pet supplies or dog toys or whatever it is, right? They know who you are and what your likes are, and that's valuable information. And that's what these big tech companies do, is they profit from our information while silencing us, right? If you try and go on and say stuff, they'll block you. And I think we've all been in Facebook jail. So people are starting to wake up to that and realize that, hey, we need to have control. We need to have more power over our own data, our own, what we're doing, and have some sovereignty, right? And so this is called decentralization. All right. So why is that important? Well, we can see some great examples of it just in the last few decades with companies like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Turo, Fiverr, Airbnb, right? These companies have used technology to really fight back against centralization. Before, if you wanted to give people a ride, you had to work for a taxi company. Not anymore, right? Uber makes it possible. You can just use your own car to give people rides, and you can log in and log out whenever you want. And same thing with DoorDash, right? You want to go deliver food to people? Great. You log in for an hour a day, 5 hours a day, whatever it is. You are in control of that, right? Turo, you have an extra car that you want to rent out to people, instead of people having to go to, Budget or Enterprise or whatever car rental place. They can actually do that right directly from you through the app, right? Just come pick it up. You let them use your car for a while, and then they bring it back, and you're done, and you make the money instead of the taxi company. So really, really cool. Right? Airbnb, you got a spare place you want to rent out? Great, spare bedroom. You don't have to get a franchise from Hilton or whatever kind of hotel chain. It's amazing what you can do. But the difference is those examples, you don't own them, right? You get paid whatever the customer is paying you, which is great, but you're not earning on top of that. There's nothing on top of whatever you just got paid per trip or per night or whatever. But through blockchain, you actually have ownership. Okay. It actually allows you to become what we call a digital landlord. And you can now own a piece of the internet. You can own a piece of where all of these transactions that are happening take place. Okay. All of that is happening on a database somewhere, and blockchain allows us to own a piece of that database. It allows us to own, we're talking about monetizing data. We get to take part in that, right? And monetize some of the data that's out there and earn from it. So it really does replace big tech centralized grip on every facet of our lives. And it allows us to kind of take back control, right? That's what decentralization is, and participate in that new economy. It's really cool. So Again, digital landlord, that's something that's trademarked. They actually took that word, that phrase, right? Digital landlord. I'm a landlord. If you think about an apartment building, okay, if you're a landlord, you own the building, and so now you get to make money from the rent that is being paid from the people that are living in your apartment building, right? That's what a landlord is. Well, if you have a digital ownership, right, now you can make money from people participating in that digital space. Okay, that's what this allows us to do. It's really, really cool, and it really is happening all across every industry. All right. Just like back in the early 1990s, when the internet was first really taking off and people were starting to realize, oh, I can get a website, I can go and reserve a domain name, a .com, pets.com or books.com, whatever it was. And people were starting to realize I can sell my products and services on this crazy place called the internet, right? On this digital online place, like this cyberspace. and in the beginning, people were like really skeptical. Like, no, that's not going to last. There's no way, right? What are you talking about? This is crazy. If I can't touch it, if I can't go in the store and see it and try it on and all those things, no. But guess what happened? It all took off, and companies like Amazon and others, they really ran with it, and now they're some of the biggest companies on the planet. Okay, so just like Henry Zhang, the CEO of Digit FT said, Amazon started out as an online bookstore for years, right? Before it decided to sell everything. Okay, and tokenization is what we call this, right? Tokenization is when you take things digitally and you put them into the internet. Okay, and so it's following the same path. What blockchain is doing is it's starting with simple, trusted assets, commerce, right? So you've got things like Bitcoin. We've all heard of Bitcoin. We know what Bitcoin does. It's it's kind of an electronic currency, okay, or you could call it electronic gold. But that was the first example of this, and then it started to scale, and now they're looking at tokenizing everything, right? Fred Earsom, he said everything will be tokenized and connected by a blockchain one day. It's going to happen, right? So we're talking about real world assets. We're talking about precious metals, gold and silver. We're talking about oil, right? Petroleum. Just all the different kinds of things that are out there can be tokenized. Real estate can be tokenized. Okay, so Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, one of the largest companies on the planet, they own almost everything in like the food industry and stuff. They've even said we're at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities to bonds and so much more. Okay, so and then Eric Voorhees said, I'm much more confident with cryptocurrency, right? So this whole idea of tokenization is this idea of cryptocurrencies and digital currencies. So I'm much more confident with crypto than with banks or fiat currency because I can actually control it. And the money supply is transparent, stated up front. It makes online shopping a lot easier and a lot safer. Wow, right? That's the direction we're going. This is the future. In the next 5 to 10 years, everything is going to go this direction. So we are in the very beginning of something that's going to change the world, just like the internet did back in the 90s. Okay, so how do we participate? Well, through Cirrus Networks, we offer something called the Gnodi blockchain. So Gnodi, the G comes from gnosis, right? So it's this idea of wisdom and all that. And then nodes are what power a blockchain. So they call it Gnodi. And what it does is it allows for AI integrated products that we all use on a daily basis that also offer daily rewards. It allows us to participate in that, to have some ownership in this concept of AI and services that we all know and love. It's all built on a decentralized blockchain. So we have that data sovereignty, we have the transparency, all those things. And then what's super cool about it is that we get rewards for our participation in this groundbreaking community. Okay. So what is exactly a node? Well, think of it like this. Think of it as it's like owning a generator for the decentralized power. Okay, so there's this great big giant ledger out there in the cloud, right? And it's just out there in the ether. Okay, and what's happening is to create the power that energizes that whole connection and that ledger, that digital database, is what we call a node. All right, that's what provides the power for it. And so when you host your node, if you purchase a node and you host it, now you're fueling that blockchain ecosystem. Okay. And because of that, you're now able to contribute to this global network. Okay. People all over the world, individuals like you and me, can purchase and host what we call a node. And it could be in the United States, it could be in Africa, it could be in Australia, it could be in Asia, wherever. People can buy them, and they are software licenses that you own, and then you host it. Okay. And the hosting is, so you've probably all heard of server farms, right? And if you save your pictures out into the cloud and stuff like that, those are all based on in server rooms. Okay. And they're all over the place. There's some in California, there's some in Texas, there's, some in Dubai. I mean, they're all over the place where they've got these server rooms filled with computers. All right. And basically that's what we're doing. We're buying a software license and we're paying for some hosting in one of these server centers somewhere in the world. And you just get a little piece of that. Okay. But what you're doing is you're contributing. You have ownership. You're contributing to that giant network that's in the cloud that backs up and stores all of this data that we're talking about. Okay. That's what a blockchain is. And so by participating in that, it's more than just rewards, right? Like people might be familiar with the idea of mining Bitcoin or mining cryptocurrencies or whatever. And that's great. Okay. That's a concept from, a few years ago where people just set it up and they were mining it and they're getting the rewards for providing that power. But what we're doing here goes way beyond that, because it's not just mining, right? That's not what we're trying to do here. We're not just mining. We are actually active contributors. By hosting a Gnodi node, you're actually playing an important role in supporting and securing the blockchain network, of course. Okay, you provide that piece of it, but you also contribute beyond that. Okay, and that's really cool because you actually have a voice. And there's some government set up in this, right? So as a node owner, you actually get a vote on different projects and different things that can come to the blockchain and be utilized. So we like to say, live your life and be rewarded, because it's not just setting up a node, hosting it, and letting it mine and do its thing. No, this is active participation. You actually earn rewards above and beyond what your node provides. By participating and doing things, you're actually getting rewarded as well. And let's talk a little bit how that happens. So in the first place, think of your node kind of like the goose that lays the golden eggs. And a lot of times we think, oh, I want to buy Bitcoin, I want to buy some of these other cryptocurrencies because I think they're going to be valuable. They're digital gold, right? But wouldn't it be more important to actually have the goose that's laying those eggs than it is to have the eggs themselves? Of course, right? Because when you have the goose will continue to lay more eggs, and as long as you feed it and keep it alive, okay, you take care of it, it's going to produce more eggs for you. All right. And that's what hosting a node is. It's keeping that node alive. So kind of a really interesting concept. Now, what is a node? Well, the nodes, there's different versions of nodes that you can participate with. Okay. So with Gnodi, we have something called a full node, and those are $1,200. Right? So it's a one-time purchase, $1,200, and then you pay just a minimum hosting fee of $1.97 a month. So, almost nothing, less than $2 a month for the hosting to, basically to feed it. Okay, going back to the analogy of the golden goose. So you have the golden goose and you're buying basically $2 worth of food to feed that goose so it'll continue to lay golden eggs for you. Well, that's what hosting is, right? So you buy a full node for $1,200 one time, and you pay the $2 a month hosting to keep it alive. And then it's going to pay out daily digital rewards every single day at midnight. Okay. And that distribution is based on the whole blockchain project. And we're not going to get into that today, but it's paying out the full amount. Now, if you can't afford that, if you say, you know what, I wish I could buy a full node for $1,200, I just can't afford that right now. Well, guess what? You can get a half node, right? So you think, okay, yeah, I could maybe do 600, right? And get yourself a half node. But maybe you're thinking, you know what? No, not quite. I can't even afford that, but maybe I could do a quarter node. Maybe I can get a $297 node, right? $300 one time, pay for my hosting, keep it alive. And, now it's paying out daily rewards, but it's just, it's relative, right? So full node has its amount that pays out every day. Half node is exactly half of the payout of the rewards. The quarter node is exactly 25%, right? A quarter of the rewards, but you can also get a mini node. Okay. So, a lot of times people just say, you know what, that's all I can afford right now, $100. Okay. Now the $100 mini node, they like to put that on a subscription because, to think about in a way, it's kind of like financing it. It's not exactly financing it. We're not saying we're giving you a, credit or anything, but in a way you think, oh, you know what, if a full node is $1,200, but, I can't afford that, but I could do $100 a month, right? And so what you do is you're buying individual mini nodes. So by the time you have 10 mini nodes, because a mini node is like 1/10 of a full node, so you just keep doing that, right? For after 10 months of just buying a mini node on subscription, it's the equivalent of having a full node. You have 10 mini nodes is like having a full node. Okay. And so that's why it says subscription, but that's no obligation. You're not committed to that. If you only got 2 or 3 mini nodes and you said, you know what, I can't afford it this month, I'm going to stop. You can, right? You can stop anytime and start back up again. So they like to have it on subscription, but that's not forced in any way. All right. Okay. So now you own your node. So you think of it like this. You could, we mentioned it's a digital landlord. So it's like owning an apartment building. So a full node is like owning that 10-unit apartment building. So you have the potential of having 10 different tenants, right? 10 different renters that are going to rent from you. And so if you own the whole building, then you're getting the rent money from all 10 units, 100%, right? If you own a half node, it's like owning 5 units. If you own a mini node, it's like owning just one apartment, okay? So you're getting rent from one set of tenant instead of 10, right? So very simple. Think of it like an apartment building. Now, here's the other fun thing, and this is what makes it all so fascinating and real, is that it's not just owning a node and where's the value come from? Okay, we're making this blockchain project happen and stuff. That's great, but what why are these rewards even worth anything? Well, it's because we have actual products and services that people know and love and use almost on a daily basis. So, and what's so cool about it is that each one of these different services you see here is considered a micro node. So even smaller than a mini node, okay, you have a micro node. And what does that mean? Well, let's say you want to get cloud storage, right? A lot of people use Dropbox, or a lot of people will use iCloud or Google Drive or whatever, and they pay money for that, right? So they can have some space to store their pictures and have a place to send large files back and forth for, people want to send a movie file or whatever, right? You can't email it. And so how do you send large files? Oh, you put it into a Google Drive or an iCloud or something, and you share it. Well, same thing. That's what Cirrus Safe is, right? So Cirrus Safe, $10 a month, and way better, storage and everything. And guess what? That same $10 a month is also a micro node that is paying out daily rewards, just like a full node would, okay? But just on a micro level. Streaming. We all love to watch our shows, right? I mean, I can't even think of how many I pay for. I think I pay for Disney and Hulu, and I think we're paying for Amazon Prime Video and Netflix. There's a bunch. I can't even keep track. So yeah, and they're all like 10, 15, $20 a month, right? And so people are paying for that all the time. What if that same streaming subscription that we all pay for became a micro node that paid out daily rewards? Wow. What about travel, right? People all over the world are paying for different kinds of travel programs, right? Travel discount clubs or whatever. And, same thing. What if you could get a very inexpensive travel club that gave you, 50 to 70% off on hotels and rental cars and vacations and stuff. And what if that became a micro node that paid out daily rewards? What about shopping? What about, getting a card that's AI powered that gives you discounts when you go out to eat, that gives you discounts when you shop online, that gives you discounts on all kinds of things and gives you cash back, right? 5%, 8%, 10%, even more cash back to you just for shopping. Wow. And that becomes a micro node that pays out daily rewards, and it pays you out rewards just for the activity of shopping, right? How cool is that? What about cell phones, right? We all can't live without our cell phones anymore. You got to have your cell phone service. So what if your monthly cell phone bill became a micro node that was paying out daily rewards? And finally, meeting. This very meeting that we're doing right now is a service that's comparable to Zoom, and there's others out there, right? Similar. But what if that Zoom service that, people pay for anyway, so they can get to, 100 people, 1,000 people or whatever with their presentation. What if that subscription became a micro node that paid out daily rewards as well? And not only that, the activities that you do. For me hosting this meeting tonight, I'm actually getting paid 20 reward tokens just for the activity of doing the meeting, for doing it, or for loading a presentation into the meeting, or for watching a training video on how to host a meeting. I'm getting rewarded. They're paying me to do things. It's so amazing. And that's where the real value comes in, and why this is so compelling, because now people can feel like, oh, I'm getting rewarded for doing stuff I was doing anyway. Going back to that initial quote, right? Live your life and get rewarded for it, because we're doing all these things. And there's going to be so many more different things that are coming. We're talking they're talking about gaming platforms for people that like to play games like Candy Crush and others, right? All kinds of things. They got like 50 different services that they're planning on bringing to the Gnodi blockchain over the next year or two. So it's super, super amazing. All right. So think of micronodes like mixed use apartments. So all of these, what we call SaaS services, or software as a service, are like the potential restaurants or businesses or whatever that go on that first level of the building, right? So you own that apartment building, right, with the 10 units in it, but the bottom of that apartment has actual businesses. In this case, we're talking about services, right? Digital services that bring value. So you're also getting a share of all the commerce that's happening in the storefronts on the bottom. That's what makes it so compelling. All right. So that is the whole idea, is that the blockchain, it needs to have purpose, right? It needs to be purpose driven based on consumption of pure utility to power the blockchain. And these subscriptions become that backbone of the economic structure of this blockchain community, right? So we like to call it having the triple advantage, because now we have products that are better. They have more features to them. They have more options to them. This very room that we're doing it in right now has live translation, so people could be listening, and I'm speaking English, and they could have Spanish translation or Japanese, whatever. There's so many more options and features in the products than the competition. It's priced better. Okay, so all those same, amazing features that you can, that you might find somewhere else, that you're getting a better price for it, right? The competition is going to charge you maybe $50 a month or $100 a month for the same thing you get here for only $20 a month. So more features, better pricing, and then finally better rewards, because the competition is not paying daily rewards. The competition is not part of a blockchain. It doesn't have tokenization. It doesn't have a micro node built in that pays you these rewards that can then be monetized and and used in the future. That is a triple threat. That's what is so compelling about this. This is the future. This is why everything else out there is going to get left behind. It's like back in the 90s when stores said, I don't need to be on the internet. Well, guess what? They're going to be disrupted. If they aren't looking at being part of something that's going to tokenize their products and services, then in the future, customers are going to get savvy and go, why should I buy it from you? You're not rewarding me every day. When over at Cirrus, they are, right? That is going to be the difference. And we get to be at the beginning of that. Now, the other super fun thing about all of this is that, yes, maybe those rewards, you could think of them as more of a long-term play, right? Because the blockchain, the rewards, and if you know the history of Bitcoin, it started out with, being worth pennies, and then it, became dollars and tens of dollars and thousands of dollars, but it took time, right? It took many, many years for Bitcoin to actually be worth something, okay, or worth a lot. And it's the same concept. The Gnodi rewards in the beginning, they'll have a negligible value, but over time, they'll continue to grow and grow and grow in value as more and more people use it, and there's more utility and all of that. But what do we do in the meantime? What do we do in the beginning right now if we're looking to make some money, right? Well, we have a really cool affiliate program and direct sales program attached to Cirrus that allows us to earn weekly commissions for sharing the word about Cirrus, about Gnodi, about these amazing SaaS products, right? Amazing nodes that people can become digital landlords with. So as a representative of Cirrus, you can pick. You want to be an affiliate or you want to be an associate, okay? An affiliate basically means that you just go out and you join for free, and you can just share Cirrus products with other people. If they want to buy a node, great. If they want to buy the Cirrus Safe, great. If they want to get the Meetin product, great. Once we have the travel and the cell phone, they're coming soon, then, same thing. You get somebody to switch over to those different products and services, then you get to earn 20% on that sale every single week. So if somebody buys a node using your link this week, then next Friday, you're going to get the $20, or just not $20, the 20% of that, whatever node it is. So if it's a full node, right, you'd be getting well over $200. I can't do the math, but I think it's it'd be $220, right, on that. And yeah, that's right. Yeah. So anyway, point is 20%, right? But here's the cool thing. If you are good at your job, right? You're good at sharing, and you actually get to where you have $500 in sales in the month, okay, then you add an extra 10% on that. So it becomes 30%. So you get 30% of everything. And it could be as simple as just the Cirrus Safe. So $10 a month, right? 30% of that is $3. So you get $3 for every single month on that, because they're going to renew their subscription, right? They're going to pay every month. If it was the cell phone, right, or it was the travel, whatever it is, you're going to get 20 or 30% of that subscription every single month when they renew that subscription, and it pays out the following Friday. Okay. Then if you say, you know what, this is cool. I'm good at building teams, and I want to duplicate this, and I want to teach people how to do more than just the basics, then guess what? You can now earn with what we call our compensation plan, which is a 6-level compensation plan where you can earn up to 5% all the way down 6 levels in a team, 6 levels of duplication. So George signs up Sally, who signs up Marco, who signs up Sarah, who signs up Alex, right? And all the way down to Alex. When Alex buys a node or signs up for the Meet and product, or goes on a trip with the travel program, guess what? All of those people in between get a piece of that. They all earn from that sale or that activity that's happening. So really, really fun way to leverage the word of mouth of sharing the future with nodes and blockchain and actual services that people want to use every day because they're better, they're cheaper, and they have daily rewards. And then all of that with the team building gets paid out on a monthly basis. So every single month, so you get paid weekly with the 20 or 30% of the people you personally bring. And then you earn monthly on what's happening with your entire team and organization. So really, really fun, really, really lucrative. There's also leadership matching bonuses and other things. We're not going to dive into that tonight, but just know there's a way to make some really fun upfront money while we wait for the token thing to happen over time. All right. So it's all about timing, right? Those that really want to get wealthy, they know how to position themselves. And the whole world is becoming decentralized. Almost everything is using blockchain technology nowadays, and it's going to get, everything will be eventually. And we're the first ones. We are pioneering this idea of digital landlordship, and 93% of the world hasn't adopted it yet. 93% of the world doesn't even know how to get involved. Okay. So your timing could not be better. This is a way for you to introduce the next generation of the internet to people, where they can now have ownership in that internet and take advantage and earn from that for the rest of their lives, right? It's really, really, really cool. So what is the next step? It is to secure your place, okay? So future's happening. This is all happening with us or without us. So what we're recommending is that you get back with whoever invited you to watch this presentation. Say, hey, I want to be a digital landlord. I want to participate in this. How do I get involved? They're going to send you a link, right? There's a web link that you click on and you just register. Again, it's free. Okay. You can register to start out with as an affiliate, and it's completely free. And now you're in. Now you're part of Cirrus. You're part of the family. And now you have the choice to figure out, to decide what way you want to participate in. Do you want to be just at a $10 level? You want to start out with Cirrus Safe and have some really cool digital storage where you can keep your pictures and all that away from big tech that's going to try and sell your data and earn daily rewards for that as low as $10 a month? Or do you want to go big, right? Do you want to go get yourself a full node for $1,200? It's up to you. You wherever is most comfortable for you, wherever you want to take advantage of the most, right? Of course, the more land you own, the more rewards you're going to get. And timing is everything, because over time, the rewards get lower and lower because more and more people are participating. So in the beginning, it's the most lucrative time. Now, there's a special going on right now for Black Friday. So if you saw this and you thought to yourself, yep, I want to do this, I want to, buy myself one of those amazing condos with 10 units in it, and I want to earn the full rewards. Well, from now until the 30th of November, if you buy a full node, you're going to get a half node for free. Okay. So yeah, it's like buying a whole unit with 10 units in it and getting another 5 apartment units for free for Black Friday. So my friends, this is one of the best opportunities I've ever seen. This is the future. This is something I'm super passionate about because I see it happening. Cirrus and Gnodi is not the only blockchain project out there. There are several, and they're all growing like crazy. And people are adopting them because they see it. They see that this is the future. But what I will say is none of the others offer half nodes and quarter nodes and mini nodes and micro nodes. Every other blockchain project that I have seen out there, they're all good and they all have great value and they're all probably going to do really well. But the problem is they're all $1,000 plus, period. We are the only one that actually offers these better ways, cheaper ways, more affordable ways for people to participate if they want to, whether it's because they just can't afford it or they live in a country where it's just too expensive and they want to start out $10 a month, $20 a month, whatever it is. So my friend Cirrus, I think, is the most noble and friendly way to be a digital landlord and take advantage of what's going to happen in the near future as tokenization takes place. So that is the presentation. Let's take advantage of Black Friday, get the word out there, share with your friends and family as you're around the Thanksgiving dinner table, right? Tell them how excited you are to be a digital landlord, how excited you are to use these cool products that give value, that have better pricing and are paying you daily rewards. There's no better time than right now to get involved. All right, with that, we'll call it a night. Thanks so much for jumping on with me. Appreciate it. And we will see you all on the next one. Take care, everybody.